Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to talk about Ukraine. Yes, Ukraine. If you've been keeping up with the news quite a bit, you would know that there has been a lot of stuff going on in Ukraine recently due to Russia invading. So me and my friend Commander got together and we're gonna do a video on what has been going on in Ukraine and the history of Ukraine. So, before we get into what has been going on, I'm going to allow my friend Commander to explain a brief history of Ukraine.
What is the history of Ukraine? Well, let me bring you back a couple hundred years, comrades, until around the late hundreds, comrades. We see a bunch of small tribes, steppe people, going and forming a town called Kiev, which eventually births the Kievan Rus. Now, from this part, we see countries like Russia and Ukraine being very close together under the Kievan Rus, and the Kievan Rus vastly expands. Now, this was quite a Nordic state as well, with Vikings, but it was also kind of a more Slavic country. We would see invasions from things like the Hungarian Empire, the Mongol Empire, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, which would all at one point occupy parts of Ukraine and eventually causing many Ukrainians to die, culture being suppressed, and a bunch of other stuff like that. This was obviously very sad for the Ukrainians, but after the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth fell, there was no more damages being done as the Russian Empire swept over Ukraine and took the majority of Eastern Europe. Admittedly, after this, it was not good either, because many Ukrainians died, culture was also suppressed once again, and stuff like purges happened. However, this happened more over the USSR. Now, did I mention that? Yes, in 1917 with the Russian Revolution, we would see the Ukrainian SFSR appear and be under Russian, aka Soviet rule. This would also not be good, as many purges happened and much of other stuff happening. However, and even Crimea being given to Ukraine around the 50s. This was not to last, as when the USSR fell, Ukraine started leaning much more towards the European side, which caused Russia to invade in 2014 and taking Crimea, a gift that they gave him in the 50s. Russia, why? Obviously now we have Ukraine led by Zelensky, a very pro-European person, and now we see Russia invading, trying to take the Donbass region and trying to puppet all of Ukraine. It's not good.
But what's been going on recently? Well, to figure that out, we'd have to go back to the year 2014.
Russian troops moving swiftly to take control of military bases in Crimea.
Vladimir Putin proudly watching Russian military exercises today. But his eye was on his troops 1,000 miles south, here on the Crimean Peninsula in Ukraine. Putin, claiming he is defending ethnic Russians in Crimea, has seized and cut off the entire peninsula.
On March 18, 2014, Russian troops invaded and annexed the Crimean Peninsula located in southern Ukraine. The reason why Putin did this was because he claims that he was defending ethnic Russians living in Crimea. So, as we heard Commander say in the last segment, the Russian Soviet Republic gifted Crimea to the Ukrainian Soviet Republic. Meaning, before 2014, before all this even happened, Crimea was a part of Ukraine for about 50 years, or half a century, before all of this. And so after the Russians annexed Crimea, you could tell people were pretty freaked out about the possibilities of Russia invading Ukraine for a second time. Like, I remember many people here in the US who were worried about it. Because, of course, we didn't know what would happen. Like, many people were possibly thinking, if Russia invades Ukraine again, this could lead to World War III, and this could be like a nuclear war or something. But then, on February 24th, 2022, the inevitable happened. The Russian army invaded Ukraine from 3 points, from Belarus in the north, the Donbass in the east, and Crimea in the south. So the Russians expected to take Kiev in just a few days, causing Ukraine to surrender. But nope, the Russian troops have failed to take Kiev, and the Ukrainians have held out. And there have been Russian attacks recently on Ukraine and Ukrainian civilians, but here's one of the most interesting parts about the war. It happened near the beginning. Many of you might be familiar with this, as it was on the news once or twice, but the Russians made a video. It was like a robo video or something. It was meant to impersonate Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, who was actually a TV star in Ukraine before he became president. Anyway, so they made a video of Zelensky saying to his troops to stand down and surrender to the Russian forces. However, many people caught on to the fact that it was fake, and that was proven to be true. In response, Zelensky made his own video telling his troops not to stand down and not to surrender to the Russians. That is a man who is dedicated right there. And he has also said, no matter what happens, he will never leave Kiev. So, of course, we have heard about many of the attacks that have happened. Like, one time, a Russian tank drove over a car in Ukraine. This was actually caught on video. The driver actually survived. Like, I was surprised when I first heard that. Like, when I first saw the video, I thought the driver of that car was dead instantly, because his car had gotten ran over by a tank. But somehow, he survived. And one time, a Russian missile hit a theater in the Ukrainian city of Chernihiv, where a lot of Ukrainians were hiding, and the city of Mariupol in Ukraine has been occupied by Russian troops. So, yeah, this has been what was going on in Ukraine. I just wanted to make a video about this. I've been meaning to do this for a long time, and this was actually suggested to me by someone. So, yeah. See you guys in the next video. Bye.